Hello and welcome to Knife Delights. This is another Way Back Wednesday, a great open tag started by the man, the legend, the curator of cutlery, Warthog. Thank you so much, Warthog, for starting this open tag. It's a great way to discuss older knives, or in this case, an older knife company. Now, unfortunately, this is not a happy occasion. It's a little bit of bad news. And I want to first begin by thanking Mr. Barlow for putting out a video and putting out this information that I'm about to relay to you. Please go to Mr. Barlow's page, check out his video. His was the first report of this that I have seen, and it's kind of sad news. But another U.S. knife company is going out of business, and that is Ontario Knife Company, and most famous for their old hickory knives. Now, I came across a newspaper article online from the Olean Times, and this may be what Mr. Barlow first saw or is referring to in his video, but it says that Ontario Knife Company has been sold to an out-of-state interest and is expected to close by the end of this month, the Olean Times Herald learned Thursday. The move would put 56 employees of the Franklinville Cutlery out of work effective July 27th. Ontario makes tactical, outdoor, and home-edged products. Before moving to Franklinville, the company had its roots in Naples, New York, where it was founded 134 years ago. And that's why we're talking about it here on Way Back Wednesday, because here's another old USA knife company that, for whatever reason, financial struggles, competition, just couldn't keep their doors open. The sale has been made to a Virginia-based distributor, Blue Ridge Knives. And I don't believe Blue Ridge Knives makes their own knives. They, contract out with other companies to make knives, and they just distribute them. That is an old practice. There's a lot of other companies that have done that through the years. Obviously, it's devastating, said Corey Whitaker, Executive Director of the Cattaraugus County Industrial Development Agency, and part of the county's effort to retain the company and the jobs. So what they did is they tried to get a pool of money together, try to get investors to buy the plant out so they could keep it open, but apparently they fell about $600,000 short, and they just couldn't make the deal happen. So here we have another loss of a U.S. knife maker. We have lots of people losing their jobs, which is a terrible thing. Now, I have reviewed these knives before here. Actually, I think I did a 3 for Thursday open tag response on with these three knives. Well, we'll get into the company's history just a little bit. So the company was founded in 1889, and it was in upstate New York. And as I said previously, it was in Franklinville, New York. I'm sorry, they're currently in Franklinville, New York in Cattaraugus County, but they were originally started in Naples, and that is in Ontario County, which is where the company got its name from. So over the years, Ontario Knife Company, they made a lot of military knives. I think like the M9 bayonet, some other bayonets. I believe like the Air Force survival knife, USAF survival knife, the M1942, machete, the Navy MK3 Mod 0 diving / survival knife. So they've have a long military history. I read somewhere they kind of started with some contracts in World War I, or at least started making knives for the military in World War I. Now well, it wasn't on their website. When I tried to go to their website, it looks like the website's been taken down, but I believe this is a history that came from their website, and they say that the beginnings of OKC were shrouded in mystery, It seems that three men, William Ensworth, Charles Brace, and William Maudsley, were in the picture from the start at Naples, New York in 1889. The early knives were manufactured on water power run grindstone and sold via pushcart through the neighboring countryside. Can you imagine that now today? Going out and starting a little mom and pop knife shop and going out and just hand peddling your wares on the sidewalks. Now the company grew and they needed more power, so they got an old sawmill at Cadets, located near the village of Franklinville. Now that was also water powered. And then in around 1902, a move was made from Cadets to Franklinville as the company kept growing, and again more space and more power was needed. This would be Ontario Knife's current location. In 1923, James A. Christensen, who had been with the company for a dozen years, became president, and the beginning of the Old Hickory line would begin. His son, Robert F. Christensen, would take over as president after his father retired in 1952. Ontario Knife would expand its role in the cutlery industry with a membership in the American Cutlery Manufacturers Association, in which Robert was past president. So for me personally, when I think of OKC, I think of the Old Hickory line. Some others might be more familiar with their military products or military line. And then, of course, they made the Ontario Rat and other knives, more modern knives such as that. Although I think some of those were being manufactured over in Taiwan. But it is just sad to me to see this. We're not going to be seeing this anymore. We're not going to be seeing that right there. Made in the USA. True Edge Ontario Knife Company. You know what, folks? These were very basic knives, but they did the job. So this is a Kephart style knife, and if you're not familiar, Kephart came up with this design of the knife. He was I guess you would say a naturalist. He started out in Iowa as a librarian and then moved out east. I get my Carolinas mixed up. I think it was North Carolina, but it could have been South Carolina, where he became famous. He designed this knife himself, this style of knife. And so this is somewhat of a reproduction, but it was supposed to be a knife that had everything you needed and nothing you didn't need. Just a very basic knife design. Became very popular, the Kephart design. This is a 5.5 inch hunting knife. It's basically just a cut down butcher knife. And again, that's why I think of Old Hickory, because I think my parents had an Old Hickory butcher knife in the kitchen drawer for years. Yeah, again, kind of a slight clip point blade there. Again, very simple wood handles on them. They don't disclose what the wood is. Carbon steel, so you do have to take care of them. You can see the patina. This is from use at some Civil War reenactments. We were cooking potatoes, slicing potatoes and carrots and tomatoes and all kinds of things. So that's just some of the leftover patina from that. You do have to watch them. They will rust, being carbon steel. I believe it's 1095. And then this large kitchen slicing knife. So these two knives down here do come with a very basic sheath. Nothing to write home about, but they get the job done. And that's what was so fantastic about OKC, is they were a very budget knife made here in the USA, and it's again very sad to see them going under. One can only imagine, I suppose, that this other company, maybe they'll start having some, use the name and have them made overseas, but probably not here in the US. So I know these are probably still available on knife websites. They're very inexpensive, very affordable. I don't have current prices for these, but you may want to get online and look for these. If you're interested, if you've ever thought about getting an old hickory knife, now's the time. Now's the time to get them before they're sold out. You can see there, they're all full tang. Now you see they're not super thick blades. They're not, made for bushcrafting. They're not, but they can skin, especially like this knife here. This can skin. It can process meat, which is what it was kind of designed for. So it's an all-around good purpose camp knife. Both of these were handy in camp. I want to show a picture that I took at one of our local museums, and they've got some old knives there that were from the probably the mid 1800s, and you're going to see they are very basic, simple knives just like this. And folks, that's what they got by with. The pioneers got by with very basic knives, very similar to this. They didn't have S30V steel. They didn't have micarta handles. They didn't have ball bearing fast action flippers, automatics. No. They survived, and I mean survived, on basic cutlery such as this. So once again, thanks Mr. Barlow for bringing this to our attention. Go out and get yourself an old hickory made in the USA while you still can. And again, I want to thank Warthog for starting this great open tag. And I hope next Wednesday's Way Back Wednesday is a much more cheerful video. But until next time, have a very delightful day.